A lot of work. AJ has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, you mentioned you give your team a message on Monday, then reinforce it on Friday. How do you these messages? Are they you plan these in the off season, or just come up like week by week when you see, hey, this is what we need to focus on?
Well, I actually use other people to try to stimulate my thoughts as to, what I should or shouldn't say and how I should say it. Um, and I have a sports psychologist, a sports psychiatrist that I talk to probably 2 or 3 times a week. And between us,
Huh.
between the circumstance that you're in, the team that you're playing, um, the outside noise that most people are hearing, including your team, you try to come up with a message that is a positive one to help them move forward. So I don't try to invent all this stuff on my own. Now, but we had like 14 speakers in fall camp, and a lot of them were inspirational speakers. I sit in the front row every day and I take notes on everything that every guy says. And if there's any bit of that information that I could use down the road to reinforce to players, because they're going to hear it, but they're not going to remember it 2 months from now. I'm always gathering information. I'm always reading books about, how do you affect human behavior? Because that's what we're talking about. You guys just call it motivation, but you're really trying to affect human behavior in a positive way so people can get the most out of their talent and ability. I think we've talked about this before. Human nature is to survive. It's not to win the championship. It's to survive. It's to do what you have to do to survive. And, you tell a guy, you sell 10 cars, you get to go to a trip to Bahamas. When after he sells 10 cars, he's going home and sit in his chair and eat the Tostitos and drink beer. He's not going to try to set the record, all right, for how many cars you can sell in a month. All right, that's human nature. That's normal. So we're trying to take people from normal human nature to be the best you can be. And we sometimes assume, all of us, that just because someone has talent, they want to be the best that they can be. But that's not necessarily the case. So you're always trying to close that gap. I call it capability gap. What are you capable of versus what are you doing? All right, and you're always trying to close that gap. And if you can do that and get everybody to buy into that, then your team starts playing to their potential. And individuals do too. And it creates value for them to do it as well as the team.
Anybody that you've not been able to reach that like you kind of got bummed out about, or on the flip side, somebody that was maybe tough to reach that you did reach and became a great success story? I assume that's in abundance, but anybody come to the top of your mind in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to mention any names, but we've had numerous what I call energy vampires. You're taking all your time trying to close this gap, and you never seem to be able to affect it. And